Sound check, 1, 2, 3. Sound check, 1, 2, 3. Here we are, everybody, for the final time here tonight for the GT4 round 2 here at the Oschersleben. We are getting ready to go for the formation lap. Obviously, it's going to be a reverse grid based on the results from race 2 that we had a few moments ago. So we'll be going around at slow speed to get into that order, and then at the end of this formation lap we'll be officially underway for the final time this evening as the sun is starting to go down. Obviously the in-game race date is based at the end of March, so as we go through the season I think we'll find that the final races of the evening will start to be lighter, so the sunset obviously is probably not going to be a factor maybe in a few weeks time. And then as we get towards the end of the season, we'll find that some of the races will be in October and November, and we will see probably very, very dark final races of the night. So that'll be interesting, but for the time being, most of the races are going to be still in daylight, or at least, yeah, starting in daylight and most of them finishing in daylight. But we're just getting ready as the drivers are making their final little adjustments to their setups. I think one driver to look out for, particularly in this final race of the night, will be Champ. He'll be starting from 3rd place on the grid on this rolling start, and we know he's got pace. We've seen it over the course of tonight, in the first race especially, but also the second race he is matching the leaders at times, so he'll be a driver who will be wanting to get away at the start if he possibly can. But there's plenty of contenders here for this final race, but as an outside bet, I'm just sort of putting it out there now, I think this man could be quite a good option here. But it'd be interesting to see what the likes of Mike and John Boy can do from the back of the pack. Big Blue said he wanted to start from the back, doesn't want to be anywhere near the chaos. Sorry, I mean racing at the front. To be fair, we shouldn't have any chaos. I very much doubt we will be seeing any chaos, because the drivers here all know what to do. They're all very clean and fair, and there's no messing around from these guys. They all know the drill, they all know how to drive, they all know how to respect one another. I don't think we're going to have any problems here tonight whatsoever, and if we do, it will be dealt with in a sportsmanlike and professional manner. But here we go then, with Smoky Devil leading us away. Champ's actually starting in 2nd place, because obviously Big Blue started to vacate his lofty grip position, which means that everybody moves up 1 place, so it will be Champ in P2 on the back of Smoky. Smoky's going to have his hands full keeping Champ at bay, I tell you that. Pop the Brown starting P3 as well, got to remember, and led a lot of the first race, and was able to keep the likes of Mike and Cobb and Aussie Albie at bay for a considerable number of laps. So you know, you've got plenty of people up the front who can do damage, and LFRD, let's not forget, has had some good results so far this season as well. Plenty of drivers up there who can do plenty. Cobb obviously starting in the mid-pack because he had a bit of a scruffy middle race, so he's not too far away either, unlike his mates John Boy and Mike. Also got Totally Zero out on track for this final race of the night as well. Good to see his connection was playing up earlier on, but he's got that sorted out here. So here we come into the final corner here at the Oschersleben. We're about to go racing here for the final race of the night. Smoky Devil will get us underway. Champ's following him all the way here, as as we come up towards the line, and it looks like we're green, 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 I think. Yep, here we go, underway here as we race down towards turn 1. Cobb's already got Part Pooper attacking on him at the moment, but Smokey holds the inside, outside. Champ's going to go down the inside here, and Champ's already made the move into turn 2, so Champ leads the race ahead of Smokey Devil as we watch them all coming through this first part of the lap. Mike there giving a shove to John Boy, and John Boy getting pushed out there. Totally Zero looking underneath John Boy as they come through on the exit of turn 3, and a bit of contact there between them as John Boy a bit wide. Totally Zero moves through up into 12th place as Champ leads ahead of Smokey, followed by LFRD with Pot the Brown in 4th place, Doris Steer in 5th ahead of Cobb, followed by RJ Dale, Aussie in 8th ahead of Mike, who's up into 9th place already. Good start from him on this first lap. You've got Totally Zero ahead of John Boy, followed by Big Blue, then you've got Nick the Villa and Part Pooper running at the back of the pack here on this first lap. Not a great start to this final race of the night for Part Pooper Rex, but Champ getting the perfect start, getting the run on Smokey, made the move into turn 1, made it stick into turn 2, and as I said before, it's got to be a big shout for this race win in this final race of the night. It depends on how quickly the others can make their way through. Obviously the likes of Cobb running in P6 at the moment, so he's just under 4 seconds off the lead. LFRD's got ahead of Smokey up into 2nd place, so that's a move there for position. Pot the Brown running in 4th there, Doris Steer, Cobb attacking on the back of his good mate Doris Steer, as in the background there we've got Aussie Albie running wide onto the gravel there, going through the chicane. He's lost out there to RJ Dale, Mike, John Boy and Totally Zero moving through. Aussie Albie down to 11th place. RJ Dale's also lost out a few places here to Mike by the looks of it, so Mike up into 7th place here at the end of this first racing lap. He's made unbelievable headway here at the start as Smokey Devil still on the back of LFRD despite being passed by him, but Champ's already got almost a second of a gap here out the front at the end of the first lap. Pot the Brown coming under pressure from Doris Steer and Cobb at the moment. You've got Mike there running in 7th place, about a second ahead of RJ there at the moment. You've got John Boy there in 9th ahead of Totally Zero, followed by Big Blue, and you've got a move potentially being shaped up here into turn 1. Big Blue there keeping it around the outside. Aussie Albie getting the move done up into 11th place, goes a bit wide there going out of turn 2, but gets it held onto into turn 3. Aussie Albie gets that move done up into 11th place. But what an exciting first lap that has been then, as you always find on the reverse grids, it shakes everything up a little bit. But Aussie Albie there ahead of Big Blue, clearly on your screen there. Nick the Villa and Part Pooper not with the first laps, not with the first couple of laps that they would have wanted here in this final race of the night. But Champ is coming under pressure here from LFRD. LFRD is really going great guns in this final race of the night and looking to maybe get a race win here. Smokey and Pot the Brown Smokey keeping with them, Pot the Brown dropping off them a little bit at the moment, but Doris Steer and Cobb still can't make the move on Pot the Brown at the moment. Mike and John Boy not too far away. Mike is right on the back of this battle for 4th place. John Boy is only about a second away from them in 8th place, so they're all quite close at the moment. As you can see there's the 4 drivers in contention for 4th place, and there's John Boy behind them, so that could become a 5-way battle for 4th place quite soon. But the top 3 are breaking away as LFRD wide out of the penultimate corner there, and still on the back of Champ though, hasn't lost really any time at all there despite that mistake, and he's still right on the back of Champ as they're coming over the line here to complete lap 3 of the race. Smokey Devil starting to drop off at the top 2 a little bit here in the early stages of this final race of the night. Pot the Brown, Cobb, Mike, Doris and John Boy, 5 cars in a line here as they come towards turn 1. What a battle this could be in a few moments time. RJ Dale's disconnected, so that's the internet there for RJ Dale. What a shame, and he's out of this final race of the night before it's really even got going. And Totally Zero's disconnected as well, so a double disconnection there. We've lost 2 drivers in the space of a few seconds, which is really quite frustrating, to be honest with you. As Smokey there very wide got onto the grass there in the corner of your shot. Pot the Brown still keeping Cobb, Mike, Doris and John Boy behind him at the moment. These 5 cars still battling, but they're all closing in on Smokey, especially with that mistake that Smokey made a few moments ago. He'll be seeing these guys breathing down his neck, and this 6-way battle will become a battle for the podium here as well. There's Smokey, there's that battle we were talking about before, which is being led by Pot the Brown at the moment. John Boy the rear gunner of this quintet of cars. Champ's still leading, but LFRD's not letting him off the hook. He's breathing down his neck at the moment. These 2 quite evenly matched, and it's advantageous for these 2 that the likes of Cobb, Mike, John Boy, Aussie Albie are way down the order. Aussie Albie's had a nightmare of a start to this final race of the night, and he's nowhere at this point, running down in 9th place. But Champ will take solace from the fact that Cobb, Mike and John Boy are all stuck in traffic at the moment. As Mike side by side here with Cobb looking to the inside into turn 1. Is he going to be able to make this move? Cobb trying to keep himself there. Mike's going to get that one done up into 5th place though. There's John Boy now trying to tackle Cobb as well in the background. Doris Deer drops to the rear of this pack of cars. But Smokey trying to pull away from these. With obviously they're all pressuring each other so much, it's giving Smokey a chance to stretch his legs there, running in that 3rd spot. Champ and LFRD still half a second separating them two at the moment. Senna says good luck for the final few laps. We're not at the final few laps yet, mate. We're still not even halfway through this final race of the night, but good to see Senna obviously in the comments. A regular racer in our F1 League, also one of our coordinators and admin team as well for the F1 League. And yeah, should be an exciting finish this race. Still a lot of it still a lot of it to go, but Smokey just ahead of Mike and Potter Brown, and Mike's going to have to run here. He's looking to the outside of Potter Brown. Potter Brown squeezing into the edge of the track, but Mike's got to put himself a little bit alongside here. Big Blue's retired from the race, unfortunately. He's DNF'd. I think he disconnected, or maybe he rage quit, I'm not sure. But here we go. Potter Brown trying to defend, but Mike's got the move done into turn 1 and through turn 2 we go. Potter Brown's now got John Boy looking to his inside. Here we go into 3. Oh, and John Boy tags him around and Potter Brown into the wall. Oh, collision there between those two, and that's allowed Cobb up into 5th place and Doris Deer through as well. John Boy waiting for Potter Brown to get going again. Aussie Albie's going to move through, I think. Is John Boy waiting for him? I'm not sure. Maybe he is waiting for him. So John Boy, or is he? I don't know. John Boy down to 8th place though, behind Aussie Albie. So that's really screwed over both John Boy and Potter Brown, who are now nowhere to be seen in that battle. Mike running in 4th place with Cobb on the back of him. Doris Deer dropping off at those a little bit at this point. But Mike and Cobb closing in on Smokey at the moment, who's running in 3rd place. Mike and Cobb currently 5 seconds off of the leaders, Champ and LFRD. So Champ and LFRD have really made the most of their grid positions here and look to be set for a battle to the flag for the win, by the looks of it. Unless Mike and Cobb can work together to try and close the gap, they need to not battle each other and just follow the leader and trust that the one in front has got the pace to go after the leaders. But first of all, they've got to negotiate Smokey Devil, who's obviously no mean feat to overtake as they come into the final corner. Mike just tapping Smokey a little bit in the rear there as they come out onto the start finish straight. As he pulls out of the slipstream now, Smokey will defend the inside, probably coming into turn 1. As Mike, they're going very late on the brakes, trying to hold it around the outside. He goes a bit deep though, and Smokey holds on to 3rd place for the time being. So 2 leaders here coming towards the end of lap 7, halfway through this final race of the night, and it's still Champ who's holding off LFRD. LFRD just going a bit wide there out of the penultimate corner, kicking up onto the grass a little bit. As Mike there getting out of shape, and Smokey looking to the inside but can't make it happen. So Mike there making a mistake, obviously knows he's really got to get the hammer down if he wants to chase after the 2 leaders. He's 5 seconds behind them at the moment, and with 7 laps left to go, he'd have to lap about 8/10 of a lap quicker if he is to catch up to them. So it's going to be a real test for Mike here. Cobb still has got to negotiate Smokey, so I think the win's pretty much out of the question for him. A podium's got to be his target here. in this race, but Mike is disappearing off up the road. They're in third place at the moment, and Mike's actually taken a bit out of the 2 leaders here. In fact, they've all taken a bit of time out of the 2 leaders here, because Champ and LFRD are battling quite close out the front here by the looks of it. Four and a half seconds is their gap at the moment over Mike, who's still got Smokey and Cobb keeping tabs with him at the moment. They're well clear of Doris Steer, who's got John Boy closing in on him. John Boy running in P7, starting to make some gains here on Doris Steer. Aussie running in the background in 8th place. Pot the Brown, Nick the Villa and Park Hooper all still going in this final race of the night. But the 2 leaders here coming down the back straight here for the 8th time here in this final race of the night. Cobb's got a bit of a run on Smokey here, but Smokey's going to defend a little bit, just taking a slightly defensive drift into the corner there. So we're basically saying to Cobb, don't think about it, mate, not going to happen. But Cobb's still keeping him under pressure, and LFRD's lost it. LFRD's rage quit from the session as he'd binned it into the wall. He'd been on the back of Champ for a few laps, and those two were battling it out over the lead. This is now going to help Champ, because he hasn't got to worry about defending the lead anymore. He can now focus on just making sure that his pace is enough to hold on from Mike, who's going to be coming after him like an absolute train in the final few laps of this race. But what a shame for LFRD. Had a chance to battle it out for a potential win, but it's all gone up in smoke due to what looks like a mistake from himself. Doesn't look like it was a collision with Champ, because Champ's continued on his merry way without any problems and hasn't got any sign of any damage on his car. So a driver error there perhaps from LFRD, which has taken him out of this battle for the win. What a shame there for him. Cobb stood on the back of Smokey Devil. Doris is still facing pressure from John Boy. Aussie's not too far off of that battle for P5 either. So, and in fact, they're not too far off of Smokey and Cobb either. If they start battling, then they could bring themselves into a battle for the podium maybe. But it's not out of the question. But Champ's gap to Mike is currently just under 3 seconds at the moment. So Mike is poised to potentially do something. Doesn't really even need Champ to make a mistake. He just needs to consistently eat into that gap. 3 seconds the gap between Champ and Mike. This is now getting to crunch time here. As Cobb's got the run on Smokey, he's going to surely make the move into the chicane. He's just going to move ahead into the braking zone. That's going to be job done there for Cobb, and up into the podium place as he goes. But he's 6 seconds behind the leaders, so I think that third place is going to be the summit of his ambitions tonight. But Champ and Mike coming through onto the start-finish straight here. It's Champ who leads after having his very, very high grip position, down to the fact that he had a bit of a troublesome second race of the night, ended up in the pits due to damage. But it's giving him a shout at this race win. Mike closing the gap, but Champ's got some pace in these GT4 cars. He's got some pace in pretty much any cars you see him in. I mean, we know what this man's capable of. He's the former LMP2 champion here at Motive. He's a multiple race winner as well. But Mike is a 7-time champion here at Motive, a 4-time champion of the Clegg Cup and a 3-time champion of the touring cars. He knows a thing or two about putting a championship bid together, and he's currently leading this GT4 championship in what is still the early stage of the season, and he's chasing a treble here tonight, a perfect 3 out of 3, and the only thing that stands in his way at the moment is this man here, who's currently leading this race. But for how much longer is that going to be the case? With Mike currently gaining on Champ a second a lap he gained on the previous lap, but let's wait and see what he gains this time around. The gap currently, as they come down the back straight, 2.1 seconds, as it just creeps up a little bit up to 2.3 as they come into the braking zone for the chicane. But Mike is absolutely flying, and he's pushing the limits. You can see running wide and around the corners, dipping wheels onto the grass, which will be losing you barely anything, to be honest. You might lose a few thousandths of a second by dipping onto the grass. As long as you keep your momentum, it's not going to cost you. But nonetheless, Champ over the line, a 35.9 from Champ, a 34.8 from Mike, so he was well over a second quicker there than Champ. 4 laps left to go, so Mike is going to be in striking distance of Champ in 2 laps time. Champ's got to either pick up the pace or start thinking about how he can defend this position here. That's got to be his only option here, as Champ there was wide out of turn 3 as well. Into 4 we go. He's got 1.8 here to Mike. Mike is going to be breathing down his neck in about a lap or so's time. Mike 3/10 down on his personal best through the first sector. Champ holding it together at the moment, but he's going to be feeling the pressure a little bit at this stage. Still not putting a foot wrong though, is Champ at this point. I've raced both of these two in the past, and I say they're very, very close on pace. To be honest, I haven't raced Mike in a while, so I might be a bit out of the loop as to what sort of pace he's got nowadays. But on this lap so far, I think Mike has continued to gain about maybe 6-7 tenths of a second on this lap so far. Having said that, he's not on his personal best this time around. But he doesn't really need to be honest. And I said before, I project that Mike will be in striking distance once we start the penultimate lap of the race. As we're coming out of the final corner here to start lap 12, the gap is about a second, just over a second. So yeah, I reckon in a lap's time, Mike is going to be all over that gearbox of Champ. So I think now Champ's strategy's got to be, how can he defend this position? How can he make his car as wide as he can? He's got to stop thinking about pulling away or trying to fight him in terms of pace. He's got to start thinking, how can he avoid Mike being able to pass him here? But here we come. Down the second straight towards turn 4 we come, on lap 12 of the race, with 2.5 laps left to go here at the Oschersleben A course, and Mike standing on the verge of a treble here tonight in his second round of the GT4 Championship here on Project Cars 2. In the first ever GT4 season on Project Cars 2 here at Motive. Mike is absolutely breathing down Champ's neck. Champ has led this race since the get-go. Got the jump obviously early on our pole sitter Smoky Devil. Faced pressure from LFRD for a lot of the race, but then LFRD binned it into the wall whilst he was on the back of Champ. Got big damage on the car, which knocked him out of that potential battle. As Mike here looking to the outside of Champ. Champ though is going to defend the inside coming into the chicane. Should be able to hold on to that one for the time being. Goes a little bit deep though into the first part of chicane. Gets it turned in for the second part. Mike's still there though. And they're very, very close here coming into the penultimate corner. Champ there covering the inside line off. Mike's going to go for a cutback here. He's going to look to get it, but Champ there once again. Textbook defensive driving there. Not allowing any gaps. Parking his car on the apex. Mike gives him a bit of a shove there. Flashes lights to apologise. And Champ still leads the race here as they come over the line to start the penultimate lap of the race. This is going to be a grandstand finish. A nail-biting end to this final race of the night, but it's Champ who's still leads by a slender margin ahead of Mike. These guys 4 seconds ahead of Cobb and John Boy. Cobb and John Boy are closing in on these two whilst they battle, obviously because they're giving each other such a fight. It's allowing these two into the picture a little bit here. Are they going to run out of time? Are they going to run out of laps here? Surely you would think they probably are. But a lap and a half left to go here for this final race of the night. Champ still holding on, parking his car exactly where he needs to. You can see how he's just putting it on the inside of the apexes. He's just not allowing Mike to any wriggle room. You can see how much it's holding them both up, but he's doing an absolutely masterclass here of holding Mike up. He's not trying to outpace him, he's not trying to pull away from him. He's just making sure that there are no gaps here for Mike to go for. Cobb and John Boy coming up on the scene, but only 1 lap to go. So I think it's now about whether Mike can outfox Champ here. Here we come out of the final corner to start the final lap of the race. And Champ's still parking his car on the inside of every apex, every corner. Stopping it on the apex so that Mike can't cut him back. Into turn 1 we come again, and Champ on the perfect line, exactly where he needs to be, taking it easy so that he's on the inside so that Mike can't get underneath him. I mean, this is just, I mean, you could say it's over the top, you could say that he's parking the bus, and he is parking the bus, but he's doing it beautifully. And this is racing at the end of the day. This is part of racing. This is tactics, and he's doing it cleanly. He's not making any. He's not brake testing him. He's not breaking the rules. He is just perfectly positioning his car. Mike cannot find a way through into the halfway point on the circuit. Mike giving him a bit of a tap, obviously getting frustrated at this point. Into the chicane here for the final time. Half a lap left to go here at the Oschersleben A-Course for the final race of the evening here. Mike knew that he needed to get past Champ to take a treble here tonight and make it 3 out of 3 on the night. But Champ's currently going to be the party pooper here in this one as we come into the final chicane for the final time. As Mike looks to the outside, he's got himself alongside here for the second part of the chicane. But Champ leaves him in the space. Bit of contact there. They rub doors, rub bumpers there. And Champ just stays ahead into the penultimate corner. Mike trying to go for a cutback. Almost tacks him in the rear. Oh no! And there's contact there between them. And Mike there into the wall. Where's Champ? Where's Champ ended up in this? He's off the track. And John Boy is going to come through out of the final corner to take the win. Unbelievable scenes here on the final lap of the race. John Boy comes over the line to take the checker flag. Cobb over in second place. Smokey completes the podium. And Mike there has got to take the blame for that one. Aussie over to take 4th place. Doris Steer P5. Champ over in P6. But what a battle. But a shame that it spilled over in that sort of manner. Champ P6 ahead of Mike in 7th with Potter Brown coming into the final few corners. It's going to be an 8th place for him. He's a fair way ahead of Nick de Villa, who's running in 9th place. But wow, that was incredible. And you've got to feel for Champ there because that was no fault of his own. But these things, unfortunately, that's racing. Mike, they're obviously taking responsibility for that, waiting for him to regain the place. But it was too late. Obviously, by then the damage was done to Champ, and he wasn't able to take his win here tonight. Potter Brown over in 8th ahead of Nick, who's coming into the final corner here. 9th place for him. What a battle there between Mike and Champ, and unfortunately it's just spilled over a little bit. John Boy, though, the benefactor of those two coming together, he's going to be counting his chickens after that one. John Boy with a very fortuitous win, which I'm sure he will be absolutely delighted with. Cobb in 2nd place and Smokey Devil completing the podium. But that is that, everybody, for tonight's action here at Motive for the GT4 Championship Round 2 here at this 15-round season here for Season 15 on Project Cars 2. Thanks everybody for watching this and for tuning in and for watching this back afterwards. And if you did enjoy, please share it with your friends, family members and otherwise associates. And we'll be back on next week for the GT4s for round 3 at the same time, 8:30 in the evening. My phone's actually not showing me. It's not my screen. My phone screen's become disabled, so I can't tell you where we are next week. But anyway, cheers everybody, and we'll see you soon.